What's going on again, YouTube universe? Inflexity DJP22 here. Just on another topic that came to my head after my last video. I didn't really get into the Carmelo thing, so I'll start. I have two topics to get into. The Carmelo Anthony one, which will be shorter, and then I was on Instagram. I posted this on Instagram earlier and Facebook, and Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless put LeBron James on their top 5 Lakers of all time. So we'll get into that and on why he shouldn't even be considered in that list at all just yet. Again, we'll get to that. So, Carmelo Anthony. I think once Paul George re-signed and with everybody talking, I think it was come to the conclusion that the Thunder don't really need Melo anymore. I mean, he really, he had career lows and he didn't show any stats that, not even on the box score that showed up. He looked a shell of himself from before. Not saying he's done and should retire, but the Thunder is not the right move for him to continue his career with. So, now, he'll waive his no trade clause probably wherever they decide. If they decide to trade him and not buy him out, they'll probably trade him and then he'll do a buyout with whatever team trades for him, and then he'll go to either Houston, Los Angeles, Miami, and apparently Washington. Now Washington, I don't foresee happening just because he doesn't have anything to benefit from that. And, again, they're building off John Wall and Bradley Beal, which they should continue. Now, they do need a small forward. Otto Porter Jr. is not a bad option, but if they can somehow package him and one other player to get a better small forward, they'll probably benefit from that. Because Porter spaces the floor fine, but, again, he's not that option that they need. So, Washington, I just don't see Melo going to, just because, again, they're building around Beal and Wall, and Melo I don't really see him in that type of system in Washington. Miami, I can see mainly just because of Dwayne Wade being there. So, well, again, he's a free agent, so who knows? He might not stay. But if I think the whole point of him going back to Miami was for him to, this is it, spend another year or two in Miami and call it. So I could see Melo going there for Wade, or, they need a 3-4 combo. Melo can be that for them because, again, in that type of system, he could probably fit better because he can space the floor, and they need that, especially with Whiteside, if they keep him not being anything more than a down low, somewhat of a post player. He's more of like a run and gun kind of lob. Even then, he got really lazy this year. So you can't space the floor with Whiteside. He clogs the middle a little bit, which is an issue in today's NBA. But he doesn't really play with his back to the basket most of the time either, so it's hard. But again, Melo would be a good floor spacer at the 4 because that way you can leave Whiteside down at what he feels most comfortable with, and that way play around, make the system around that. So I could possibly see Miami. Houston. I mean, we wanted to go to Houston last year. New York just didn't want that trade for Ryan Anderson. Nobody wants the Ryan Anderson contract. Ryan Anderson's not a bad player, but he's not worth the money. So he can sign with Houston, which he wanted to do the whole time last year, like get traded there. I kind of like that because they just lost Trevor Ariza, which is not a super big piece, but they're gonna miss they need something to fill that spot. Melo could do that. Again, floor spacing. He can space the floor because Clint Capella's area is the box. Don't get me wrong. Capella has come a long way from 2-3 years ago being Dwight Howard's backup to now being their starting center. He's really good. But again, he doesn't have much of a free throw shot. He doesn't have much of an offense out of the 3 to 5 foot range. And, you don't need another bit. You don't need another, 3 or 4 clogging the lane, because if you have 2 down there, you're not spacing the floor well. So that's where Melo can come in handy because he can back somebody down, or he can go from mid-range to 3. His shooting last year wasn't as good as it has been. But he could be that floor spacer at the 3 and the 4 when they do small ball to help out. So I could see that. The Lakers, again, they're definitely gonna need some type of shooters to help space the floor and shoot, obviously. Because right now, Rondo's not a super bad shooter, but he's not a reliable one. Lance Stevenson, I mean, really, we've only seen his Indiana, like, that was his home, that was his spot where he was the best. Not saying he can't be good, but that was his best. So we'll see how that goes. But they could use Melo as a shooter, a floor spacer, and again, they can use him as that 3-4 combo. But we'll see how it goes, because you keep LeBron at the 3, so Melo would have to be the 4 if they use that starting lineup. So those 4 destinations, the least likely is Washington. I still say probably the most likely would be Houston, just because it makes more sense, because you have a better floor general and Chris Paul there to set you up. The Lakers, I mean, don't get me wrong, Rondo is definitely still a really good point guard, so I'm not knocking it, but they still haven't decided who's their starting point guard as of now. So go somewhere with a stable starting point guard and a stable system, but the only downfall of him going to Houston is him and D'Antoni's history. If they can get over that, I can foresee that working really well. So again, that's my Carmelo take. Now, I've been hearing that LeBron is now top 5 Laker. Well, again, this is probably, I haven't heard Nick Wright's take on this, but this is from good old Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Now, you two, I get where you're coming from, just an aspect of basketball and his career, but you can't call him a top 5 Laker. He hasn't suited up for them. He hasn't played one game for them. He's played against them. He's played his whole career between Cleveland and Miami, so you can definitely call him top 5 player in Miami Heat and probably the best player of Cleveland Cavaliers history. You cannot put LeBron in that top 5 Lakers category. You just can't yet. Granted, you got to see how these 4 years go. If in these 4 years he takes them to the playoffs, which he probably will this coming year, gets them through all 3 rounds into the finals, yes, you consider him a top 5 Laker. If he wins them a title or 2, yes, you definitely put him in the conversation as a top 5 player, a Laker. Even winning, like I said, even going to the finals with the Lakers team, yeah, you can put him in the top 5, top 10 category for sure. But winning 2, yeah, you can put him in the top 5. But you just can't base it off of what has happened in past history. Again, he hasn't played one single minute for the Lakers. How are you going to call him a top 5 Laker? I hate the Lakers. I'm a Celtics fan till the day I die. I hate the Lakers, but you can't disrespect anybody who's put that uniform on. Top 5, in order, my top 5 would be George Mikan, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal. I want to say, that's probably put Shaq and then Kobe. And again, that's no disrespect. And my top 10, if we go after that, 6 would be James Worthy, 7 would be Wilt Chamberlain. Who would I have at 8? 8, forgot who my 8 was. 9, I had Pau Gasol. 8, I had Elgin Baylor. 9, I had Pau Gasol. And then, 10, I had Elgin Baylor. Long story short, those guys are proven, late through trades, anything, they're proven. Lakers, greats. George Mikan, the name of the franchise for a majority of the 40s and 50s and 60s. I mean, that's right there. Even he was part of the Minneapolis Lakers. He was there before LA even started. Then you got Magic Johnson, one of the best point guards of all time, who skill set overall. And I had, someone commented on my Facebook that yes, in today's modern era, even without a shot, I would still take Magic Johnson because of what he brings to the table overall. Defense, again, Magic was what he is, but you You got to put Magic and Kareem. Kareem is one of the best players of all time. You put him on Mount Rushmore. The most points in NBA history, just like his skill set. And he did that without threes. Like Kareem was just the man. He helped LA win 5 titles. He won 1 in Milwaukee. You know, he came and changed the culture in the mid-'70s. And then Magic helped continue to change it. Then you got Kobe. Kobe and Shaq. Sorry, Shaq and then Kobe. Shaq comes, Kobe gets drafted. Shaq's the most dominant big man ever. Comes, helps improve the team, not drastically, but enough. And him and Kobe mesh well. And then 2000 to 2002, I mean, that team was up here, man. I mean, you couldn't mess with them for a few years, but that's the thing. I'm not even basing it off wins. I'm basing it off of just the fight, the dog in them, how they established the Lakers franchise in the mid to late 90s after Kareem retired in the late 80s. Magic retired in the early 90s, tried to come back mid 90s, didn't work. You know, that was the next set of great Lakers to come in. So you got Kobe and Shaq, and again, Shaq at that point was Big Diesel, man. He came from Orlando, changed that franchise's history completely, and then comes to LA and helps them change their franchise and helps them drastically. So them two together winning 3 in a row, and you know, hiccups around the time Shaq got traded, but you know, you put them two at the top 5. But again, you know, everybody has an opinion, but Skip and Shannon, obviously one of the biggest LeBron James fans, I'll keep it PG, fans ever. But you can't put LeBron on that top 5 list, man. Give it the 4 years and then come back and discuss his position in Lakers history. Again, I hate the Lakers, and you know, I'm a secondary. You know, this is my second team, Clippers. I mean, granted, I got Chris Blake Griffin on right now, but you know, it's like you can't put LeBron on that list yet. Like I said, come back to me in 4 years when this contract's up, and then see what he does, and then see what he does when the contract's over. So again, that's my take on Carmelo's free agency, you know, hit and run there, and then that's my take on LeBron not being a top 5 Laker just yet. And that's not hate, that's facts and statistics on why he should not be, because he has not even played a single second on the Staples Center floor as a Los Angeles Laker. So again, if you disagree with me, come on, tell me in the comment section what you think. We'll have a debate. I mean, after that, I don't see, like I said, he's not even on any Laker list right now, just because of what he's done. Being on a top Cavalier, Miami Heat, and NBA overall list is completely different than being on a Lakers list. You can't just be a great Laker if you've never even been one yet. So that's my take. So go ahead, like the video, and subscribe. Again, in place of the gaming team, man, come watch me, the team, just everybody in general. We all got YouTube. I think most of us have YouTube channels, but you know, Twitching, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, we're there, man. And again, be sure to watch out for our Raleigh SuperCon videos coming up. We're heading there in about 3 weeks. The guys are going to be there the day before me, but we're going to get footage, get photos, you know, put up our stats from the weekend, just overall experience, and we're going from there. We're building a brand. We're getting big. Keep a lookout for us, man. We'll be on your TV screens and computer screens before you know it, and gaming screens. All right, Plexi DJP 22 out.